This is the story of Carro, the woman we are going to get to know today. How do you become a seer?
How did that happen? Well, I could feel and see things with people. Friends would come and I could see colors around. I just suppressed this feeling, but then became much more strong. Suddenly I would know things about people, or I would see things and I would see a picture in my mind. Maybe you can put this ability to make funny cartoons together with this ability of seeing things and make cartoons for people. And when I meet somebody, I see what their power is. You came so far and that you're capable to do so many things. You're always able to adapt to situations. And we're ready to do it, the women.
You are on your soul's journey on one side, and on the other side, you are on a business journey. And Grow Happy Like a Rich Hippie, we're bringing those two things together. I'm Sonia Williamson, your podcast host, and let's grow happy like a rich hippie. Hello everybody, I'm back for the big break. And in this series, Women on the Road, I'm interested in speaking with those women who've already built a business, who've already done part of their journey or a whole journey, who have got something really interesting to share that can inspire you. And the big question about the woman we are going to speak and get to know today is, how do you become a seer when you've been raised equally with one parent living a luxurious life and another parent, the mom, being kind of a control freak? This is the story of Carro. This woman has been living in, or lives now in Amsterdam, has been living 5 years in Israel, was married twice, built a business around her art, and totally transformed in what she described to me as a dark night of the soul. I was intrigued. I worked with Carro, and to ask her all those questions and to get to know her better, we're going to call her in now. Carro has joined. So, Carro, I introduced you, and I
wonderful.
was really getting to know you, and it was amazing, an amazing journey for myself, but also amazing understanding who you are. Understanding who you are and where you come from, and the life that you lived in Amsterdam, in Israel. Can you tell me some scenes from that life? Because we also talked how life is a big theater, and maybe you can pick out some interesting scenes from there.
Yes. Well, I started traveling when I was 20 years old, and I went to Australia. And there I met my husband. He was Israeli, my first husband. So that's how I went to Israel. And first we went to Amsterdam. But the scenes that stood out most of this travel was I had this huge urge to explore new horizons. And I'm a very creative person, as you know. And I love other cultures and I love exploring new places. So for me, this was a beautiful, beautiful opportunity when I met my Israeli husband to get to know this culture as well. And what stood out the most for me when I look back now after all these years is that I'm really, really good in adapting to people, to places, to cultures. I was able to speak Hebrew in 3 months' time. It was amazing. I'm very good with languages. And also in my work later on, I noticed that everything that I learned from all these trips and all these meetings and being in all these other places in the world, and I'm sure you know as well because you're a big traveler as well, that you are really, you're able to be flexible with yourself, to be flexible in your heart, because you get to meet all these amazing people, and they all have their stories and their life stories. And they just make you think differently about life. Because when I see people maybe they live in one place for 30 years or more, and they have a job for 40 years or more, and they don't really move, they seem to get stuck in their mind a lot. Like for me, traveling and being in all these places, and especially Israel and Amsterdam, very loud and vibrant places, it made me see that the world is an amazing place, and there are all different kinds of people, and you never know what story somebody has to tell. Like that's what stood out the most for me. There it all started to grow for me as well. In Israel, I started as an illustrator, so my career started as well there, and I managed to put all of these things, like my creative ability to draw and to see things with people and to make funny connections in situations and to put it on paper. It's like, so for me, Israel and Amsterdam were the places where I started my career, and I saw this this different thing, like what I just told you. You understand me?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like this theater of life idea, right? And if I see your cartoons and everybody's watching, please go to Carro and have a look a little bit at her cartoons. They really hit home.
Yeah, thank you.
They really, well, they're so cute, you know. It's like these little figures, and you see a cartoon of Carro, and you know it's a Carro.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
I developed this style as well because in the beginning of I'm now 30 years an illustrator, working as an illustrator, and in the beginning it was really when I see the paintings from the early beginnings, I think, oh my God, like they're really not good. But you develop. Yeah.
It's like we always, when we see the early beginnings, I just talked to my husband about my early beginning, my first website thing and my first ideas. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is,
how did I even put it out there?
So Carol, you developed this style, which is super unique. And now you are with clients, with people who approach you, you are creating those soul selfies, like reflecting what you see in them, what you see in their soul.
Yeah. I also, how did that happen? You wanted to ask. Has a bit of a delay. How did that happen? Well, when I was little also, I'm very sensitive. I was very sensitive, and I could feel and see things with people. Like suddenly I saw my grandfather sitting he was deceased, and I saw him sitting on the corner of my bed. Or friends would come and I could see colors around them. I was like, oh, you're really red today. And then they would, no, I'm red. Like, I don't know what you mean. But I just suppressed this feeling. And I lived all my life, and I started working as an illustrator for big companies and things. And, I really went rational. But then, maybe 12, 13 years ago, this feeling became much more strong. Like, much more things came through me. Like, suddenly I would know things about people, or I would see things, or people would tell me something, and then I would think, no, but I think it's going to be different. I wouldn't say this to them, but this would be in my feeling or my mind, and I would see a picture in my mind, and then I would start painting things, and then a friend told me, a dear friend, it was really gold. She said, "Why? I don't know why. Maybe you can put this ability to make funny cartoons together with this ability of seeing things that are beyond the eye." And make it in one, give sessions to people or make cartoons for people. And I thought, wow, that's an amazing idea. So thank you, Chantal, if you're watching. It's still amazing. And then, in the beginning, I called it reading drawings or whatever. But then later on, a coach told me, why don't you call it soul selfie? Because it's really a powerful name for what you do. Because I read the soul of my clients. And what I did with you as well, I can see what they are heading to go and do, or what their amazing powers are, or things that they might not see themselves, but and so it started. This is how it started. So I'm doing this actually now for around 13 years, something like this.
13 years. Wow, look, here's mine. I let all my fears go. Here. And I stay calm in every situation, stopped hunting. And it says, we make the world a better place together. And you see, my husband, me, Vinny. Yeah. So I can just reflect that back. It was exactly my journey. It's like there is a lot of fear when you build your own business or when you go out. I have quit my job. It was only 2.5 years ago or something. And staying calm, stopping hunting is so important, because when you hunt, I totally relate, then it's like this neediness situation instead of the letting life happen and enjoying all the aspects of it and making the world a better place, of course. That is a very big word. But once you understand in your heart how you do that, and I think you're a lot about this, right?
Yeah.
Then it just shifts and clicks. And I thought it was really hitting home. And it's not about that thing, right? When you, maybe you tell a little bit how you craft that soul selfie. What do people have to imagine? Maybe you can just quickly do that. And then I have got one more last question, because we're already 12 minutes in.
Well, it's like this, like we go online and we start talking, but in the meanwhile, I have all my stuff ready. I have my colors and my things, and I don't know, I connect to you immediately, because that's one of my gifts. I can just see what your power is. And with you also, I can see this is what you are. You are so powerful. You really definitely are going to change the world. You're doing it by doing this, by this channel already, but in much more ways. And so then I can see this with the person in front of me, what's happening. And while we talk, I always start with painting the name, and then we talk and just chit chat also. But things are coming through, and then the drawing is, it's developing. That's how it works. It always works, and it always works within 1 or 1.5 hours. It's just amazing. I don't know what happens, but people always feel empowered and nice and calm afterwards and during. Yeah.
It's a conversation, I felt, right?
Yeah. So, from soul to soul, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. My question, this is one that is like the typical seer question, right? When have you felt that you're really seeing something ahead of time, it makes me almost feel creep, like, ooh.
For myself, you mean? Or for
however,
other people,
a situation where you say, okay, this is like quite an insight.
Yeah. If I talk for myself, I always have this, like a voice in my head or things, and I would see something like how things are happening for me, but I can't see the big things. I think we're not allowed to see our own big things, because then we are being stopped maybe on our path, and we need to learn from all these difficult situations maybe as well, So I can't really remember one big thing, but it's actually really in the small things, like what I just told you, like when I see something for you, I can see this happening for you, this really big thing, and the sun shining bright in your life, like I painted on your soul selfie, and I can see that you're really empowered by your husband and all these things, and it's happening. And of course, you can take a different road in your life. It's not a steady thing, looking in the future, if you might call it like this, because we all embody our own future. We all are able to change our own future as well, I think. But only the big things in your life are always steady, and I think they are meant to be. That's your soul's path, or your blueprint, or however you might call it. But I can't really, Sonja, see really, things ahead. But it happens in little things. Like yesterday, there was a delivering was supposed to come to my house, and I was really anxious because I had to go out. And I was like, oh shit! So I have to call my neighbors now to ask them. I don't feel like this, And then I was sitting on my couch and I thought, but maybe I think it comes in 5 minutes. And exactly 5 minutes later, my doorbell rang. Ding, it was there. Like these things I can see ahead, but it's very short future ahead. Yeah. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing.
Yeah.
What do you do when you have negative, you talk to somebody and there's something that is not, how do you deal with that is off kind of what you would wish for somebody?
That's a really good question. But I don't really get negative. I don't actually get negative things. I never got. I get feelings from the person in front of me, like he's feeling down or she's feeling anxious or sad or hopeless. Or, these feelings I get, but I always translate it in something positive. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I always see this positive thing. It's amazing. But I always, when I meet somebody, I see this, what their power is. It's always coming in front of everything. And I can't see, when people are dying or getting sick. No, I don't get these images. It's really unfortunate, actually. I don't get them. Yeah, because I think it's, I don't know if I could deal with that I could see these things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to know things of people and then not telling them, but knowing them,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Carol, with this very brief wrap up around your journey and how you did a life, what would you like to say to those people out there who are watching now, either building their business or wanting to work with you or inspiring? I don't know, what comes to mind?
Well, it comes to mind, you can look at my website, you can book a session if you feel called to do this. And what I want to give to women especially is stand in your power and do your thing. And really, because I know from my own experience, and I also don't always do it still, just be happy with who you are and know that you came so far and that you're capable to do so many things. Like what I took from my travels, for example, is that you're always able to adapt to situations, always, and you're much stronger than you think you are. Yeah, I hope this encourages.
I love it. You're much stronger than you think you are.
Much stronger, yeah. And I really think we have this huge power in all of us. Yeah, and we're ready to do it. The women, we're ready.
That's another big point. Yeah. I love that. And this feeling I carried out from the session with you. And people who are watching now, it's like you can maybe connect to this voice of Carro's, it's quite calm. I perceive it as calm, opening a space. I imagine now the big, we talked about this stage, the theater of life, and how they make space for every one of us to step up and do whatever.
And I want to add something. Now you say this about this theater. It's what I told you. And like when you're in a difficult situation, what helps me and what I learned for myself is like kind of step out of it. Like you're sitting on stage and not on the, how you say it, on the theater itself. Like you're watching yourself doing things. But that's something, you can learn how to visualize this.
Become an observer.
Yeah, observer of your own life and your own habits and your own behaviors. Yeah.
And those selfies that you do actually do help to have.
Yeah, they help. Yeah.
Carro, thank you. Thank you for speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you for being.
It's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. What you do is amazing as well, Sonja.
Thank you.
Really. Yeah. I was so impressed by how you went traveling and all these things, and it's amazing. I wish for you that you go soon again.
The trees.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Up under the sky.
Yeah, the freedom it gives. Thank you for this opportunity. Very, very nice. And we'll talk again.
Yeah. Let's together grow happy like a
rich hippie.
Like a rich hippie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.